Okay. Here we go. You can probably hear mine. It's probably me. What? I think they can hear a heartbeat. Okay. I think so. It's okay, they turned it down. Yep, we are ready. Hi guys, my name is Carly Stevens. I'm here from FCTV and I'm here with Alaina King and Danielle Shockey. Danielle is the Deputy Superintendent of Public Instruction for the state of Indiana. And we are so happy to have her here on behalf of the entire New Albany-Floyd County School Corporation and especially the media department here. And she's here to answer a few questions about what she does for all the schools in the state of Indiana.
Happy to be here. All right, so what about education sparked your interest?
Probably great teachers. I started, honestly, I can't ever remember wanting to be in a different profession. From the time I was in first grade, I thought that's what I want to be. And then somewhere along the way, I decided that really being an administrator or school principal was a good next role for me. I wanted to have broader impact. So it's really been great educators, either that were my own teachers or colleagues, or then people I got to work with as their building administrator.
And how did you become interested in politics?
So that's actually by accident. No, genuinely, I did not seek to be the deputy superintendent. I was working as a school principal. I was working in higher education. I was working to actually develop a licensure program for people who wanted to become teachers. So again, in my area of passion in terms of educators. And superintendent wanted to be state superintendent, and someone said, the two of you think so much alike. Your beliefs about students and teachers and the way schools should be for Indiana are really very much akin, and they said you should meet each other. So we met each other, and suddenly I was working for the Department of Education. So the role of the politics of this, I've learned a lot in 2 years, having been the deputy, but it was certainly not anything that I understood very deeply. And now that I'm in it, can't really see a change in that. It's a pretty exciting place to be, to affect the system as a state. We call it an SEA, a state education agency. And so we're able to impact schools, public, private, charter, otherwise. So it's a great place to work.
What are some of your strategies to establish compromise between opposing sides?
Gosh, so I've learned that. I can't always say that it was a skill set I had, given the field of politics. To me, it's the same. It's the same as I had as a building principal. I pride myself as a principal being able to create a climate of learning, and that included every single person in that school community, parent, custodian, teacher, classroom assistant, and students. So I think I take that same spirit to the State House. It's about relationship building. So whether it's a State Board of Education member who I can reach out to privately and say, hey, can I help you with this? It seemed like maybe you still have some questions. I feel like it's relationship building. So I think those are the skill sets I use to bridge those opposing moments.
And how is that going right now?
Depends on who you ask. I think it goes as well as can be expected. It is different. For those of you who might be watching, the superintendent is alone, the only Democratic elected official who works in the State House. So that means every other elected official, statewide official, from the governor to all the other statewide offices, are held by Republicans. So when we talk about opposition, that's where the opposition sometimes comes, is in a different value or belief system. So it is like, probably people say it's an uphill battle, but ultimately at the end of the day, I know the superintendent myself, if we go to bed at night thinking we made the right choices for the education system for this state, for the right reasons, the opposition is welcome.
Okay. Why are elective classes such as student media and arts important in school?
For this reason alone. Superintendent and I, again, we have beliefs that are similar. Every student needs a pathway. Every student needs to feel success, whether that's sports or arts or history or politics or whatever their passions are. We believe there should be a pathway to a viable college or career after high school. So fine arts is certainly an amazing pathway. Communications, journalism is a pathway. So we certainly would honor that diversity technical skills, the trades. So we really hope to create diploma opportunities and course opportunities in every high school, middle school that really helps every student find their niche and then leave high school with either a certification already in an industry field or the opportunity to go on to college in something they're passionate about.
Great. All right. Well, what aspects of reading and literacy do you feel are necessary in schools?
I think it's the foundation. I think everything goes back to literacy. And when I say literacy too, I also mean like thinking literacy and critical skills literacy. And I would also add in mathematical literacy. I think we've gotten very heavy in very pathwayed mathematics thinking and gotten away from domain-based thinking. What I mean by that is what we hear from industry all the time is we need students who remember how to measure, and that might have been a 4th grade standard, but they need to know how to convert. And so what I think mathematics, literacy, reading, and so forth, all those thinking skills to me are foundational, and those should be where we should hone our skill set for students, is not about how to take a test and maybe not how to memorize every single minute part of a state standard, but rather how to think to find the answers, how to be critical thinkers so that you can find the answers in this future where information is going to be easy to get, being able to be a critical thinker is going to be the more important skill.
Awesome. Okay, what do you believe your biggest contributions have been since you've been deputy?
So as deputy, my role is really pretty unique. The superintendent and I try to be out in schools and obviously as much as we can, but my role back at the department when I'm not out in the field is really many divisions. Those divisions include special education, Title I, the standards, assessment. So in terms of contributions, we've just finished the 3 major systems of education being complete and completely launched. So 3 projects I've worked on have been the standards. So as students, I don't know how you feel about the new state standards, but that was an incredible accomplishment for the state of Indiana to be given the, the challenge to seek out the strongest college and career standards for our students, whether that was the Common Core standards before or Indiana's own. So I helped lead that work with teachers from across the state, so I'm very proud of the standards work. Proud of the fact that we have shifted and aligned our assessment to match those standards, even though it was a little bit longer this year than we would like. We'll be back to normal next year. And then finally, the A to F system. So those 3 systems, assessment standards and A to F, and A to F is what your schools are graded on. So what we have now is a new model for A to F that will really capture student growth. So right now, we want a system that if a student comes in a little below grade level, but they grow, we want the points that your school is given that give you your A to F grade to make sure it accounts for the fact that that student grew. So those, I would say, are the 3 major projects that I've been very much involved with, and I'm really proud of where we're headed. And I'm excited, I was telling your administrators today, I'm excited for next year. I'm excited for the fact that all of these are behind us. So I think teachers and administrators and students and families have felt a lot of changes in the systems of education over the last couple of years. And so for the first time, we're going into next year with stability. There's no new standards, there's no new tests. The ADEF system will be better. So I'm really looking forward to all 3 of these things having been complete and moving into a year where it's going to be a more stable environment for education.
Awesome. In what ways did you manage to gain support from teachers during the election?
So I would say, again, I wasn't a part of the campaign. I'm excited to be a part of a campaign coming forward with the superintendent, but what I watched her do magnificently was the fact that she was an educator herself, and she can say 30-some years in the classroom, she understood what it took to build a great school, what it took to build a great school community, and so I think she connected to them in a very relational way. So I think that was the success of her becoming superintendent and how she got there through a campaign for which people probably didn't see it coming. She started very late in terms of when she announced that she was running for state superintendent. She didn't have a lot of money, which is what it takes a lot of money to have a campaign sometimes. And she did all of it just by connecting to the teachers and saying, I know what you're going through and I want to change some of the things that were not going in the direction she felt were right for the state.
Okay. And what are your future goals for your position?
You know what? Again, I'm looking forward to the stability stage, and not because that means less work. Actually, the stability means that we can start focusing in what I would consider some of the art of the profession. We have what I would almost call a crisis in Indiana of the number of people not going into the profession. So I was pleased that you're going to elementary ed at Ball State. But we have people not seeking to become teachers. And I think that's because there's so much turmoil, and they feel like it's just not something that's valued in our society right now. And in Indiana, it's become particularly difficult. So I look forward to the stability that we're going to have in this coming school year to bring back what we're calling the professionalism into the profession. Help teachers, again, to get opportunities for professional development, provide dollars to allow teachers to be teacher leaders and earn money in doing so. So I'm looking forward to that. That's kind of some of my next steps as the deputy.
Right. And what are your future political goals?
Seeing as I didn't have any before, I still don't know if I have. My role is to continue to support, again, what's been exciting for me as like I said, the state education agency. We have 250 employees who work at the Department of Education. And so we've redone how we work. The Department of Education has long been more of what we call monitoring and compliance and coming out to schools and saying, well, are you doing this, or are you doing this? And that's not been the case under the superintendent. She's really shifted it to how can we come in and help look at your data, help look at your students, let us be in your classrooms, let's talk to the principal and help turn around some of our more struggling schools. So I would guess my political aspirations would continue to make our SEA, the Indiana Department of Education, stronger and stronger to help schools become better and better.
That's great. And I know you've already said that you want to see the stability change in schools, but what else would you like to see change among schools in the future?
So kind of talked a little bit about pathways and this idea that every student feels like they have something ahead of them outside of high school. So I would like for every student in Indiana for a diploma to be something that is valued and actually gains them access into a college or a career or a certification into an industry of their choice. So I would like to see our high schools and our middle schools and even down to the upper elementary grades provide counseling opportunities so every child knows how to access these opportunities. So that's something I would like to, and it's not that it needs changed, it just needs more maybe emphasis. And sadly, it needs more money. We don't have enough counselors in schools, which I hope that you don't feel that way personally here, but statewide, we are one of the 5 lowest states in the country in the number of student to counselor ratios. So that's something I'd like to see change, because without that person who you can turn to and say, help me figure this out, we're gonna miss the mark on having every child have a pathway. So I'd like to see that one area get more emphasis and support.
That's really great. What kinds of things can the community do to improve education?
So the superintendent really changed the way we work at the department by adding something called outreach for school improvement. So here in your community, you have an educator who serves as your outreach coordinator, and she lives and grew up around this area. So she was hired because she knew this community. So what she does is she goes to all the schools and she helps them with their school improvement plans and looks at the school data to say, okay, where are your areas of need? But it's not just your areas of need, it's how can we take this area of need and then get the community partners involved. So community partnerships is certainly a priority of ours at the department and something that we seek out all the time. And we know it has to be personalized. A community partner in Indianapolis is very different than a community partner in Floyd County. So what through outreach we're able to do is she goes to various associations, Boys and Girls Clubs, Chamber of Commerce, knows the mayors and so forth. So the idea being, this is what our schools need. How can we all work together to create a stronger school community in our counties? So it's actually very important to us.
That's great. What kinds of events do you do to promote your beliefs?
Schools, talking to educators, talking to parents, talking to whomever will listen. Like I said, business community. It's important that everybody understand, and most people do, that our schools are the backbone of the economic development of our state. So having strong schools creates a strong state. So I would say whether it's a political event and you can talk about having strong schools, or you're in a school talking to students who are then going to grow up and we hope stay in Indiana and maybe become teachers would be great. But those are the ways we promote public education.
All right, and what advice do you have for future educators?
Stick with it. It's like I said, looking back, I wouldn't change a thing. The fact I was a teacher and an administrator in schools and every day was different. So I would say for future educators, stick with it. The students need you. The country, the education system is an amazing place to work. And it has a lot of opportunity for just continued success. Our students are amazing. I mean, people, that's just a great place to work with people.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, thank you so much, and that's all the time that we're going to have for today. Once again, we would like to thank Danielle Shockey for coming in and answering all of our questions that we had for her. So thank you guys so much. Yes. Thank you. Alrighty.